Okay, we will start with a breathing practice, actually. We're going to start first, check in with the body, connect with your physical body, and then we'll move into a breath practice. So you can do this starting either in a comfortable seat, or you can also come to lie down on the floor, laying on your back, whichever feels the most comfortable and appropriate for you in this moment. So if you do start sitting, I would encourage you to sit up on top of something. You could have a bolster or a pillow, a blanket. Maybe you start by sitting in a chair at the edge of your couch. If you're sitting on the floor and you've got your legs in front of you, maybe your knees come forward and you might even prop up your knees. You could have blocks, you could have bundles of blankets. The important part is that your seat is comfortable. This allows you to bring in a sense of ease into your body, into your practice. So as we move today, make sure that you're checking in. If you ever notice pain or if it doesn't feel good, then acknowledge that and pull back. So maybe you allow your hands to rest down on your legs. Draw your shoulders gently down onto your back. Maybe you even lower your chin a little down and you look at the floor. Maybe your gaze is focused at one spot, or you might explore by closing your eyes. Start with a cleansing breath into your nose and let it go out your mouth. And do this one more time. Breathe in and let it go. Your breath now begins to return to a natural rhythm. As you begin to soften the muscles in your face, your jaw begins to relax. The space around the eyes, between the eyes. Now bring your awareness down. Notice your heart, how it feels. Is it open? Is it tight? And then now bring your awareness so it travels down your spine, all the way down to the root. And then notice the pelvis sitting and resting on the earth. And your legs. And noticing your shoulders down the arms to your hands, the tips of your fingers. And then down through the legs, all the way down to your feet. And noticing, observing, not trying to make sense of anything, but arriving with curiosity. And if your mind wanders, this is an invitation to come back to your experience. There's no right or wrong way to do this. And now noticing how you're breathing. Wherever the breath may naturally land, notice if the breath feels slow, or maybe your breath is fast. Do you observe it in your chest maybe in your belly. And if it feels comfortable for you, then begin to lengthen the breath. So it starts to become a little bit longer. It's slow and steady. We'll be here for another couple of minutes. If you want to come out of the seat at any time, you're more than welcome to. But if it feels safe for you to continue, then explore your breath. Slow breath in, slow breath out. And now we're going to move into the breath practice. Now you can keep breathing just as is comfortable for you. And if it ever does feel uncomfortable or you get more anxious, then release the practice. So we're going to start by matching the count of the inhale to the count of your exhale. So I'm going to count for 4. You can do this with me or on your own. So when you're ready, you'll breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do this one more time. Okay, now release the count wherever you may be. And if your eyes are closed, maybe you start to open them up. And then bringing one palm over the heart, the other over your navel. Notice any changes that you might feel. Perhaps spaciousness, this sense of ease. And as we move through our practice and we hold the poses, I invite you to keep the breath slow and steady. Always returning back to your breath as an anchor. Okay. And now go ahead and lower the hands down. If you do have the legs crossed, we're going to switch the cross of the legs. So if you're on your back, you might start to sit up, and you can continue to stay on top of your bolster. Maybe you sit on a blanket. We're going to move through a little bit of movement for the spine. Your hands will rest on the legs or the knees. With your inhale, you begin to come forward. You'll lift your chin. And as you exhale, you begin to round. And you're drawing your navel in. As you round, you might even bring your chin in. Continue to move fluidly with the rhythm of your own breath. Slow and steady. And this is your practice. This is your body. So doing what feels the best for you today. Knowing that you can choose to sit out of any posture. Everything I share with you is an invitation. Okay, now you're gonna come back upright, a tall posture, and extend your left hand out to the side, maybe even on a block. And then the right hand, take it to the heart. As you extend tall, start to twist. And then maybe even reach your arm up and it starts to go overhead. You could explore by bringing the hand to the back of the head. So we have a little bit of a micro twist and also a lateral bend. That slow and steady breath traveling up the right side of your body. Inhale, you'll rise up, take the right hand to the side. Maybe your tips of the fingers are touching the floor or a block, and then the left hand to your heart. A very micro twist, very small micro twist, and then you can send your arm up. You might start to reach overhead, pulling the shoulder and elbow back. So creating space on the side of the body. This creates space for more room to breathe, for the lungs, the blood to be oxygenated. Okay, and now begin to come back upright. And this time now take the right hand to the left knee and we move into another twist. The left hand can come behind you. Before you twist, lift up with the top of your head and perhaps you start to look behind you. How does the breath change in this pose? Okay, and then release. We switch to the other side. You're going to bring the left hand to your right knee. The right hand is behind you. The important part here is that you're lengthening and then twisting. Perhaps even looking over the back shoulder. Okay, nice. And release. Let it go. Begin to extend your legs out in front of you. And I would recommend staying on top of your blanket. So I'm going to move so that way you can see me a little bit better. The legs are extended out straight. And it might feel a little more comfortable to grab a blanket and place it underneath your knees. It's optional. You can keep your hands by your sides. And then with your feet out in front, begin to point and flex. You can keep your heels on the mat if you want. You could even lift them up if you want a little more invigoration. So building this movement, this dynamic movement, pointing and flexing. Nice. And now flex into both of your feet, and then you're going to move them side to side, like a windshield wiper. And now opening and closing. And then pointing and flexing again. Okay, we're going to fold forward. And as we fold forward, you can stay upright if this feels more comfortable. You could also have a chair or a big bolster in front of you to rest your upper head on. We're going to hold this fold for about 1.5 minutes. So one other option is to place this big bolster and you can rest on top, or even your forehead resting on the edge. Once you find your shape, invite a little bit of ease. See if you can even match the count of your inhale to the count of your exhale, maybe without even counting. You could count if that feels comfortable, but maybe your body intuitively begins to sink into this space. And you could explore the way your breath is moving along the back. Perhaps you notice it across the back of your ribs or your heart. Invite ease into this space. We have about another 30 seconds or so left. You're more than welcome to stay just as you are. You can perhaps maybe go just a little bit deeper, or you choose to back out of the pose. When you're ready, you're going to slowly start to come back up. You can move your prop to the side. Maybe you bring your hands behind you. You lift up with your heart, draw your shoulders on your back. The experience of your breath radiating, this time across the front of the body. And go ahead and come back up. Begin to take your left leg and you're going to pull it in, and then take your right leg and open it up just a little bit more. So we're in this kind of like a wide-legged butterfly shape. I'm going to move so you can see me a little bit better. So we have the legs extended in front like this. So we're going to pull the left leg in as comfortable as it is for you. Take the right leg and scoot it a little over to the right. And you might continue to have this blanket underneath the back of this knee. And then for this knee, if you feel that you're straining, you could prop this knee back upright. We'll take the right hand down your right leg, the left hand over the heart. And then start to reach over. You might crawl the fingers down the leg, and you might even look up towards the ceiling, only if it feels okay for your neck. Maybe you only do it momentarily. Now there's a lot of different ways to explore this shape. You could stay, maybe you're propping your head up. Maybe you'd like to keep the hand over the heart so you feel that connection to your body, but maybe you'd like to explore by sending it up and overhead. Your breath slow and steady. And if your arm is overhead, start to bring it back. And then slowly rise up. Now, as you come back upright, you might move through some cat-cows. And then we're going to switch to the other side. So now we're going to pull the right leg in. It's coming in towards the body, and then now the left leg extends. It can be straight out or it could be out, kind of like a half straddle. Maybe you're propping up the back of the knees. Extending tall, finding your comfortable foundation for your pelvis, your legs, the knees, and then taking this left hand down the left leg. And maybe you're walking the fingers a little bit further down until you reach a spot, your edge, and you stay in this spot. Maybe your hand is at the heart, encouraging the heart to open up and out. And the option to explore the placement for your arms, maybe resting your head in the hand. Once you find the shape, moving into your experience of the breath. And we have about 30 seconds or so left. Notice your experience just as it is. Lean into it. Slow and steady breath. And then slowly come back upright. Once you come back upright, you might stay still, or you could take the cat-cow. Okay, nice. Now we're gonna take the feet, and you can even help your leg up about wider than the hips, and so you'll begin to windshield wiper your knees side to side. Okay. Good. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna come down to the floor on the back. Have your prop, your bolster, whatever you're using as your bolster nearby. And also maybe you have a blanket or a block nearby. I'm going to move my cushion out so that it's more comfortable for me to lie on my back. Once you come down to the floor, have your knees so that they are bent, and then the feet are flat down onto the floor. Once you find this position, we'll take a scan of the body. Start by noticing the back of your head and where it meets the floor. Notice your shoulders on the floor. your elbows, your hands. And now draw your awareness to your heart. Whatever your experience is. And then bring your awareness down to your navel. Do you notice the subtle movement of your navel? The rise and the fall, each passing breath. And now notice your pelvis, your tailbone, the sacrum pressing down on the floor. Observe the upper legs, your knees, your lower legs, the feet connected to the earth. Experience your whole body quietly breathing. And if you'd like to, now begin to draw both of your knees, and you can bring them up towards the chest. They don't have to touch your upper body. They could also be a little bit out to the sides to make space for your torso. Maybe your hands are on the backs of your knees. They could also hold the feet. Maybe you're taking a variation of happy baby and exploring. Maybe you're rocking side to side. And then finding a position that you can hold briefly for about 30 seconds or so. Your inhale, slow and steady, about the same length as the exhale. And now begin to take your left leg and send that leg down the mat, but keep your right knee pulled in. You can begin to roll your ankle. Maybe you're moving your toes a little bit. And now bend at the left knee and place that foot flat onto the floor. Cross the right ankle over your left knee. This is a variation of pigeon. You can start to push the knee away from you, and this might be more than enough sensation. An alternative option, if you want to explore, is pulling both of the legs in. You can grab your shin, the back of your thigh, not forcing anything, but rather giving yourself room and space to feel the sensation and breathe into it. And again, if you notice the mind wander, that's perfectly normal. This is your practice, your invitation to come back into your body. If the legs are pulled towards you, start to release them so they come back down to the floor. And then you're going to uncross both of the legs and extend them down your mat. Let all the muscles release. This is a mini rest shape, Shavasana. Observe the difference from your right leg to your left leg. Your hip, your knee, all the way down to your foot. And now bring your awareness back to your breath in the belly. Rising and falling. The experience in your heart. Okay, now we're going to move again. Keep both of the heels on the floor, and you're going to start to point and flex both of your feet. Your body is moving up and down the mat. And start to pull the left leg in this time. You can wrap a scarf or a strap if you have one around your foot or the shin. You can also hold and support with your hands. Maybe explore by moving your ankle or your toes. And now begin to bend the right leg. The foot is flat. And you cross the left ankle over the right knee. Only going as far as it feels good for you. You can stay here by pressing the knee away from you. This turns the sensation on. You can also pull both of the legs in and pull and support with your hands. Lean into the sensation. Your breath, compassionate. Your body resilient. Breathing in, breathing out. We have another handful of breaths left. Okay, slowly, you're going to begin to release. As you release, you could send your legs down the mat, finding your rest pose. So we'll be here briefly. scanning your body from the top of your head down through the feet, all the way back up to the top of your head. Okay, now begin to bend at your knees and then reaching for a prop. We're going to come into a supported bridge. If you want to stay on the back as you are, you're welcome to. Or maybe you start to press into the feet and take a prop underneath your tailbone. I'm going to use a block, and then it will go right on your sacrum. Make sure that this is comfortable, supportive. If you have a blanket under the head, mindful that it's thin and you're not restricting your throat. Then you choose where you'd like to place your hands, perhaps by your side. Maybe they're resting on your navel or another over your heart. And now we're going to start to extend the exhale. So it becomes a little bit longer than your inhale. So as you breathe in, you're feeling your body fill with breath. Your belly is rising. The breath is rising up into your heart. Your exhale is slow and steady. Your navel is gently drawing in. Your breath rising out of your pelvis, up the spine, all the way up to your heart and your chest. And exhale, releasing, slow and steady. And start to relax your facial muscles. Maybe your eyes are even closed. How does it feel to be here in this moment, in your body, your breath? Taking a few more breaths like this. Okay. Now you can stay, or if you want to explore, maybe you start to pull your knees up. You could even take them up towards the ceiling. This is a variation of Viparita Karani, legs up the wall. Mindful that you're not straining though, so if this doesn't feel good, then back out. And then slowly, if your legs are elevated, bring them back. Lower the feet down to the floor. When you're ready, you'll press into the feet, lifting up the pelvis, engage your glutes just a little bit, and then slide your prop out, and you're going to lower the back down. Once it comes down, then take any movements here that feel good. It might feel nice to windshield wiper your knees side to side for a little bit of a twist in your body. And any other postures that you'd like to take. Maybe you're pulling the knees in. And now we will take the last pose, the pose of rest for Shavasana. You can take Shavasana any way that you'd like. You could have a blanket under your knees, a bolster under the knees. Perhaps you even have a pillow or a blanket under your head. The most important part is that you're really comfortable and supportive. So if you find that you're in the shape and you're not quite comfortable or you're straining, then you don't have to force it. Maybe your shape is lying on your side or moving to the couch. If it does feel okay for you, then maybe your arms are by the sides and your palms face upright. Take a cleansing breath into your nose and then let it go. Releasing any remaining obstacles. One more time. Breathe in and let it go. And now your breath becomes slow and steady, not trying to control or change anything. Maybe you close the eyes and fully surrender into the spaciousness that you've created. Observe the rise and fall of your navel. The spaciousness as you inhale. The release as you exhale. We'll be here for another few minutes. If the mind wanders, that's okay. Simply come back to the rise and fall of your belly, the experience of rest. Notice the sounds you can hear around you. And now notice the space just around the body, the temperature, your clothing, the weight of any blankets that are laying on you. Notice where you make contact with the floor, the back of your head, the shoulders, your arms, your legs, your connection. Maybe you start to wake up and make little movements. You can stay in your resting pose for as long as you'd like. But when you are ready to come out, these little movements and deepening the breath will bring you back. And you can start to roll onto your side. And then maybe as you roll onto the side, you could even start to sit up. And we'll close our session briefly, taking a moment to place one hand over the heart and the other on top. You can lower your head inward and honor yourself for pausing, for slowing down, and doing one of the most important things that you can do. Time to rest, time to release what doesn't serve you, and honoring your truth, honoring this practice of yoga, and wishing you peace, peace, perfect peace. Thank you.